Thank you for coming, everyone. My name's Grant, co-founder of Etherealize. That's my Twitter handle. Ethereum's going to win. Make Ethereum great again. So I'm going to be talking today about tokenization. You've probably heard a lot about it, tokenization, RWAs. It's sort of the new NFT for this cycle. But unlike NFTs, which were just pictures of dogs and cats mirrored on AWS with pointers on the blockchain that are somehow worth millions of dollars, these actually represent real assets. Fundamentally, blockchains are accounting ledgers. So what is the point of an accounting ledger at the end of the day? It's to account for things. So what are you accounting for, right? I think financial assets are by far the most relevant thing in the world to account for. And the boomers have already done a lot of the work for us. They have already digitized and financialized most of the things in the world. We call these things stocks and bonds. The total addressable market of stocks and bonds is about $250 trillion globally. And our job, in a sense, is actually quite easy. It's just moving these assets from TradFi databases onto crypto rails. And there's a couple quotes there from some TradFi leaders. I mean, there's a billion every day. Larry Fink is discussing tokenization, or the leader of some bank. Even Jamie Dimon has bent the knee recently. So, yeah, we're taking over the world, and So here's some benefits of tokenization. I only have 15 minutes. I won't go through all of these, but when you can take Tesla stock, slice and dice it in DeFi rails, put it on Uniswap, trade it 24/7. That's really cool. It unlocks a lot of value. The 2008 financial crisis was caused by hidden financial risks, caused by siloed information in different TradFi databases that regulators did not have insight into. On crypto rails, this is obviously trivially solved. Global accessibility and liquidity. When the whole world can buy a financial asset in the US, or someone in the US can buy it in the whole world, it's kind of possible to do that today, but there are still a fair amount of frictions. And on crypto rails, it becomes trivial. And there are other benefits, of course, too. And where is all this tokenization happening? Well, we're at ETHCC. No surprise, it's happening on Ethereum. So this slide says it's about 58%, but if you actually aggregate the rollups and everything, it's actually over 80%. 80% of tokenization today is happening on Ethereum. At Etherealize, we talk to the leading banks on Wall Street, and we've had a few conversations with international institutions as well. And they're all in on Ethereum. There was a lot of hand-wringing over the past year about Ethereum's status and whether it's losing competitiveness in the blockchain landscape. And at least on the institutional front, from what we've seen, that's not the case qualitatively, and obviously that's not the case quantitatively either. So there's massive government support for this. One of our co-founders, Danny Ryan, who shipped the merge in Ethereum from proof of work to proof of stake, was actually being investigated by the SEC. The SEC wanted to take down the Ethereum Foundation, and Danny was the highest guy in the US, leading one of their leaders of their research team. He had people knocking on his door, asking for his devices, and just generally harassing him. And as the election progressed over the past year, and crypto became more of a bipartisan issue, that pressure slowly dropped, and to the point today where we have all those hostile SEC investigations. They've ceased. I'll give a little anecdote. We went to the Treasury Department a couple months ago. We sat down, and they look at us, and the first thing they say was, "How can we help you?" I think that's the first time I've ever heard that from the government ever, especially in crypto. It was amazing. And so you have Paul Atkins here, the SEC chairman, singing the praises of tokenization. Scott Bessent, Secretary of the Treasury, talking about stablecoins. How the U.S. government's going all in on stablecoins. They see it as a way of exporting dollar dominance to the rest of the world. And it's just an extremely friendly time for crypto in the US. I think we have 4 years to make a real impact, to tokenize the world and put it on blockchain rails, and hopefully longer than that, but guaranteed we'll at least have a relatively friendly regulatory environment for the next few years. So this is about more than just finance, though. I know I started this talk about tokenization, but Ethereum can fundamentally become back-end infrastructure for all of civilization. I think sometimes we get lost in the weeds in these conferences talking about EIPs and ERCs and smart contract standards, and lose sight of the potential of this technology. Everything from voting. Right? Imagine blockchain voting. There's a lot of disputes around voting systems and voting machines today. And I know, of course, this is a very thorny topic. There are ways to Sybil attack votes in blockchain rails. But fundamentally, I think that the underlying architecture is such that if you shape it properly, you can have extremely secure voting systems. You could even have direct democratic governance. Put a vote on chain. For a proposal in the Senate or Congress. Let citizens have their voices be heard through a smart contract transaction. How cool would that be? Land registries. In the United States, if you own your house, that's sitting in a piece of paper in some bureaucrat's office in a small county, back room. God forbid it gets flooded or there's a tornado or whatever. This is a huge thing. This is why title insurance exists. The title insurance industry is worth tens of billions of dollars in the United States because of this absurdity. If you could just have the land registry on a blockchain, you wipe out that whole industry. You don't need it. It makes no sense that it even exists, in my opinion. Identity. If you could have a zero knowledge identity that you take everywhere with you, you don't have to show your passport or your driver's license every time you want to enter an event. It's way more privacy preserving. Basically every financial institution, even many web applications, are just giant treasure troves of user information. And on blockchain rails with properly designed zero knowledge passports, we can eliminate that. And I won't go through all of them. There's a whole slew of examples here. But yeah, it's really cool what's possible if we get this technology right. So I think really it has to be Ethereum. Ethereum or bust is the title of this slide. Every alt L1 is kind of a LARP, in my opinion, when it comes to decentralization. They play decentralization theater games. There's one network, it's a prominent competitor to Ethereum. They run out of, greater than half their stake runs out of 3 data center operators. What this means in practice is that with 3 phone calls, you could take this network down. Ethereum, to me, means freedom. It means the freedom to transact. It means guarantees that when you send a transaction or you do something, you have thousands of validators distributed all over the world processing that transaction, running on consumer hardware. 10 years of uptime, 19 successful hard forks, no VC funding, massively distributed supply of ETH. I think if the global financial system does not run on Ethereum, if it runs on another set of crypto rails, the future will be far more dystopic than it could be if we get this right. So I'm at Etherealize. We've been pretty knee deep in advocating for Ethereum on Wall Street and in Washington, D.C. We've recently expanded our team to 9. We're going to have 15 plus by the end of the summer. We're opening an office in New York, an office in Austin, and yeah, we plan to increase our operations over the years. We're going to have more information about what we're up to in a month, but I will say, yeah, we've had 300 plus meetings with Wall Street institutions to discuss Ethereum and why the future should run on Ethereum rails. DTCC, which is a huge custodian, they have over $100 trillion of assets. They have thousands of smart contract files written in Solidity. So this is coming. We're trying to support it. Thank you all for being at DTCC and doing your part too to make the Ethereum future a reality. We testified in front of Congress in support of the Clarity Act, which is going up for a vote next week, actually, and there's a lot of support behind it. We released an Ethereum thesis that we plan to share with all the ETF issuers. We want to create a unified messaging around Ethereum's value proposition. It was called the Bull Case for ETH. You could find it on our Twitter, which is at Etherealize_IO. And finally, we're doing a lot of research around privacy on chain in an institutional context. So Danny Ryan is heading that up. His architectural designs are next level. He's a genius, and so we'll definitely be releasing that in a timely fashion too. So yeah, more info coming soon about all of that. And I'm Grant Hummer at Etherealize, and yeah, thank you everyone.